BroncORadio.com, where every second of the day an artist is live. Ladies and gentlemen, we have on the phone a dear friend of mine, somebody that I've known growing up through my high school years. Excuse me, before I get into our actual interview, I forgot to introduce the actual show. This is Untold Stories, ladies and gentlemen, where we focus on the average person and they detail their life as they see it. It's about the existential. It's about the metaphysical. It's about life's little journey. On the phone, we have in a very special interview, once again, going back to a gentleman. He's not only an athlete. He's not only a musician. He's not only pretty, you know, I don't like to call men pretty, but, you know, he evolves in that realm. You know how those Cali people are. We have the pseudonym, Mr. Caly Nate, a.k.a. Nate Johnson. What's going on, sir?
Nothing much, man. Long time no hear. How you been, man? How you been?
Man, like I said earlier, I'm holding on like a hubcap in the fast lane, as the famous E40 put it out there. And ladies and gentlemen, if y'all don't know, I haven't physically spoken to Nate in 1999.
It's been a minute, though. A lot of things that happen in between.
You preaching to the choir. I mean, the interview is not about me, but I'm telling you that a lot can happen, and it doesn't even feel like it. I don't know about you.
Yeah, you know, it's strange because, you know, we haven't really talked to each other in a bit of a time, but, you know, it's just good to see people are comfortable in a good space and doing positive things. So that's always a plus, no matter how long you haven't or have talked to somebody. It's good to see them still being as positive as they were at the last time you seen them, you know?
So, speaking about being in a positive place, we're going to get into where your positive place is at and that positive space that you're referring to. But let's take a trip down your life or into your life. Let's go back. You know, I don't know how far back we need to go, but you have graduated high school. You're embarking on this journey we call life and into adulthood. When did you first fall in love with music?
Well, I mean, truth be told, my father, I'm a junior. His name is Nathaniel Green Johnson, but his stage name is Casey. My father, he played music his whole life, played the bass guitar. So as a child, I mean, 2 or 3 years old, I got pictures of me on the drums, me with the mic in my hand.
Nice.
So it's just been a lifelong thing. But when I actually got interested in creating music, I would say would be in 7th grade. I met a guy named Jihad at Washington Middle School in Pasadena, California, and we did our first karaoke rap over a Nas album. Over it was written. Can't remember what song, but it was pretty cool. So that was the first time I was introduced to actually like making music, you know.
And as you're creating and you're getting into this thing, I guess hip hop really, that's what you really gravitated towards. What about hip hop draws you?
What drove me?
Right.
Okay. Well, let me be honest. Really listen to R&B music before, you know, from elementary up to 6th grade. That's all I listened to.
I'm telling Eileen.
Like that.
I'm telling Eileen.
I think he knows. He probably knows. I already told him because, you know, he knows.
Okay.
What happened was I transitioned into music. My first album I actually bought, like, the first album I bought was going into high school. I bought Jay-Z's Reasonable Doubt 1996.
Right.
And the way he rapped was like he was talking. Like it wasn't like I'm trying to hit you with different deliveries and different styles. It was like he was telling you a message. And I always felt like, you know, when you rap, you know, for me, I like to be a little different. I like to always come with a different sound, a different feel. But I always wanted to have a message when I'm saying, you know, what do I want the people to hear? So that's what drove me, was when I heard that album and how it was just, at the time, it wasn't what it is now, but
right.
it did something to me, you know?
So
it's always with the outlet.
What I'm hearing is that the way, and I think this is true for anybody that listens to music, when we listen to music, there's something about the music that communicates with where we're at in life. And so going back to your life, you've bought your first album in 1996. You listened to Reasonable Doubt. It's changing your perspective on music. You grew up in a musically inclined family by way of your father. R&B was your first love. That's like the fact of the day for me. Like, oh man, who would have known? And so we're taking this journey, and music is speaking, and me personally, if I could tell this little small story, ladies and gentlemen, during lunchtime, especially when it would rain we went to the same high school, John Muir High School. Shout out to the Mustangs.
Yes, sir.
We would go. There would be like a little canopy next to our little snack stand, and every so-called rapper would get under there, and they would freestyle the whole lunchtime, and it'll be some of the funniest, best times, because you'll have the people who can't rap, they'll get in there and they try to do their thing, and then you got the critiques, and then it seemed like everybody knew how to beatbox. As a matter of fact, one of your good friends, Mr. Jeff Washington, I remember beatboxing like for everybody. Do you remember that?
Yeah, he was now I call him the ear, but then he was a music machine.
Even back then.
He was a music machine.
Yeah. So Nate, used to freestyle, and I think it was another brother, Aaron Anderson. There was some old thug dudes. I can't remember their names off the top, but they would all just be on the canopy, and they would get it in, and it was just amazing that it's kind of like, allow me to make this comparison, Nate, and I'm not trying to say you're on this greatness. Hopefully one day, maybe you are. I don't know. I'm not trying to say anything. But they said that Busta, Jay-Z, and Biggie all went to the same high school, but none of them knew how great they were going to be at the time. So it's like, man, am I witnessing greatness? Did I already see the beginnings, the foundation?
Right.
You know what I mean?
It's interesting. It's a very interesting. Mir itself was an interesting place.
It really is.
Compared to a lot of different schools that were around us, there was always that one thing about Mir that you had to be a certain. We talk about this all the time. Me, Jeff, Eileen, my cousin Anthony, my homeboy, A-Mass, and Carl. We talk about this all the time. How Mir, certain individuals gravitated to Mir. You had to be a certain type of person to go to Mir. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Because there were special individuals there. I mean, that goes from the Sukis to Obi Moores, special individuals, whether you were a star or whether you were just amongst the crowd.
True.
I think those moments, that's why, us, I could not talk to you for over 15, 10 years, and when I talk to you, it's like I talked to you yesterday.
Right back at it.
It's a special type of vibe that Mir gave off. Now, we did go through trials and tribulations. There was things that were happening within that inner city that we lived in that, brothers like us, we had to be aware of.
Right.
Those that could go that path,
right.
per se, but we were always in that path. I think that, like I said, it just took a special individual to really maintain all 4 years at Mir. Straight up.
Well, let's talk about, and great segue, trials and tribulations. And I kind of wanted to go straight into it off gate, but I wanted people to understand a little bit of your backdrop before we, understand the struggle. So we got the background, but now here comes, again, if I'm correct, here comes the struggle after high school. What were some of the things that you dealt with in terms of maybe finding employment, doing something better with yourself? What are some of the things that you struggled with?
Well, after graduating from Park University in Kansas City, Missouri, with a graphic design degree.
Shout out to you. Congratulations.
Yeah, good looking up. I moved back home. My mom's, was having some illness, and we got her. She got on her feet. I moved out to Vegas. I met the woman that I'm with currently, Christina, and we had a child, Naya Mae Johnson. That in itself changes your world, changes your perspective, changes your vibe, changes your feel, changes your approach. Me and her mother's relationship, it was, up and down. We loved each other and still do.
Yeah.
At that time, we were figuring out, do we want to raise a child in Las Vegas? And we both decided it was best that, we get her in a more family catered environment, which was Minnesota.
Beautiful place, by the way.
I was born in 2007. We decided to move to Minnesota in 2008. They went before me because I was still working at my current position in Vegas. And when they left, I had some things I hadn't quite taken care of. I guess I was pushing things to the side. When I shouldn't have. And it landed me in jail. For a couple days.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And so, quickly talk about that experience. Did you feel like, man, as a black man, you have failed? You have now become a statistic? Did you feel that the situation was going to get worse? Did you have any idea how long you was going to be in there? Just talk about it.
It's funny because, some of the stuff I did when I was in high school,
right,
and Caly and Caly should have landed me in jail. You know what I mean? I should have been in jail.
Yeah.
But it's the smallest thing, a couple unpaid tickets on the car, and you have a warrant, and you go to jail.
Oh man!
When you've done things that 1,000 times, more inappropriate than that.
Right.
So when that happens, you sit in there, for me, and everybody's experience is different,
Right.
There's a whole ton of, but for me, you get to think a lot. I don't got my daughter no more in my face. I don't got my girl there in Minnesota. The people you're calling, can't really do nothing for you at the moment.
Right.
So you're moving around, you trying to figure out things. Some people ain't answering, But the people you meet inside, I met a cat in where I was staying. There was two guys where I was at. The younger kid, he was about 18 at the time, and then the older cat that was in his mid-30s, he's Filipino. And I'll never forget it. I don't know why, but he's sitting on his bed, cot, whatever you would call it, boat, as they say in there.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, when I get out, I'm moving to Santa Monica. And when I get to Santa Monica, you said you're from Cali, right? You gotta come visit.
How random.
I'm like, man, right, like, I've never met you, whatever. I never, ever met him. Like, I've been to Santa Monica 1,000 times. I haven't seen anything. But for some reason, that stuck with me because when you're thinking about all the stuff around you
right.
that have gone wrong, it takes that one moment to make you forget about it and realize, somebody else is going through something too.
Sure. I was just thinking, like, I hate to say it like this, but in a way, it's funny how trials and tribulations bond people, and it feels like it's almost as if, this is a part of a brotherhood. I got a chance to interview Nicholas Walker, and he was talking about his time in prison. He did hard time, and the relationships that he, forged, and the people that he had to align himself with in order to survive that particular experience. I'm not saying your experience was as harsh as his, but the fact that all of you all are together, all of you all can't move around unless, dude open the gate. It's just, we all in it together. I guess it's like going to college, or for you and I experience, we went to the same high school. It's just an experience that you all are sharing. And for some reason, for that Filipino dude, it seems like, man, I think we could be friends for life because of this.
Right, exactly. Like, what? Like, all right, cool. I'm gonna come see you, man. I promise. But you have to say that. Like,
Yeah.
If you don't have nothing else, you don't have nothing else. Like, if I say, man, hell no, I'm not going over there. I'm not gonna come see you.
Yeah.
And that creates more problems on top of the problems you being in there.
So you in there giving dudes daps like, yeah, when we get out, man, we're gonna eat top ramen.
It's so with that, to kind of bring it full circle.
Yeah.
I kind of treat now life, I can't say instantly when I got out, I was this changed man. There was still maturation that needed to take place. There was still water and soil that needed to come together.
Okay.
But now I can reflect on that and be like, I make sure when I meet somebody, they think I'm being as genuine as possible. Because now it's real. I'm not in a box with you.
Right.
I have to, like, when I say something, I have to mean it.
Right.
And so, like, for music, that's how it kind of connects with me. Anytime you hear something from me, I mean it. No matter how over the top or how calm and mellow it is, I mean it. And everything I say it because that's what I want the listener to hear at that point in time from my heart,
So you said that even though, because we're fast forwarding, we got through that stint of your life. You said there was still a maturing process that you had to go through in order to really see life in the lens that you want to see life. How did that play a part in the development of your music? So, and let me try to make the question very specific. So you started making music in the beginning at a given time. How did that music, when you started creating music from that point, how did it change to the point where you're at today? Because I'm guessing that it was shaped by your life experiences, right? So what in your life helped mature your music or bring your music to a different place?
My kids, like, that's number one. Anaya is now 7.
Yeah.
And my friends and my family and experience. Like, where I'm at now musically, from where I started, let's go back to where I'm on the bus coming from a basketball game, and the guy that you mentioned earlier, Aaron Anderson.
Right.
Forgot his stage name, but
Reborn.
We on the back of, there it is. we in the back of the bus. All right, after a game, my first time on varsity,
Mm-hmm.
and we started freestyle battling.
Right.
And he destroyed me. Like, literally, like, man, shit, like, I remember it to this day. Like, it's nothing I can do about that in front of all the players. Everybody laughed, and it was cool. It was all love.
Yeah.
That strengthens me now.
You
like,
don't.
I refuse, to be a harness. I want to say what I want to say. So, like, it started off fun and games. Like, my first actual rhyme I ever wrote down, I copied was Busta Rhymes. It was a Busta Rhymes bar, and he was rapping fast, and I think he was on a song with Helter Skelter or something like that.
Yeah.
And now I feel comfortable.
Okay.
Like, I feel like I don't, and so the maturity process started, as you get older, and then you realize you have more to say than just whatever over a track. Like, I just want to say the coolest thing ever. I left that.
Right.
I just want to say the right thing.
So let me re-articulate, if you don't mind, Nate, Caly Nate, and what Nate's talking about on that bus. Because I played basketball. I didn't play varsity, but I was on that same bus with them during this time when we go back and forth from games. And if you didn't have a hardened skin, that's the kind of thing that breaks people. Like, if you do not have heart, it'll take your heart away. I wasn't freestyling, and I told this on Facebook. That we had a friend. His name was Kenji Thomas, and he would get on me so bad after games. One time we almost got in a fight, but it predicated based on this one event. We was on a bus, and I said something slick, and he got back with me. He said something like, "Shut up, gorilla," and I'm like, "Oh, all right." He was like, and so I kept talking. He was like, "You know what? If you shut up, I'll give you 2 bananas." I was like, "Oh, you gonna give me a banana?" He was like, "You know what? Make it 3." I'm like, "Oh." And so he just kept going, and it's funny, he just kept going on about that thing. And of course, my feelings was hurt, especially as a teenager. You're, insecure and things like that. But when I reflect during that time, it helped me to appreciate, man, life is just not that serious. If I'm not the prettiest dude in the world, I get that. It is what it is. It's humbling. It's humbling. So I imagine when you was rapping, you fly, what I'm saying? Ladies and gentlemen, Nate had a little curly top, like the style that y'all see today. He was rocking that back then, and they had the Tommy Hills and the chaps. It was popping. Like, they really did it. So I can imagine Nate going there. He's fly. He's rapping. They had the Penny Hardaways and the whole nine, and then Aaron Anderson destroys him. And it's like, all of his confidence could have been shifted, and it could have been a rap. You know what? He could have just said, "I'm gonna focus on basketball from that point forward." However, he took this opportunity and just decided to grow and make this into an art form. Now, speaking about art, it seems like everything that you do revolves around art. Music. You said that you're into graphic design. If I'm not mistaken, are you also into photography?
I enjoy using a digital camera.
Yeah, he said. In other words, he's not a professional, but on the slide.
Yeah, not a professional, but yeah. I enjoy using one.
So, what is it that about the arts that draws you into? If I give part of the answer, it seems like, again, you get to. Well, let me ask you this: do you believe that music or the arts is therapeutic?
Very, very. And to kind of go off very, the average person gets in their car, and the first thing they do is turn on their radio.
Sure do.
And there are, and I'm not generalizing. I'm saying in the simple essence of what cars come with now is radios. Now, whether you listen to talk radio, even if you listen to talk radio, there's breaks in between those talk radio stations where they play music on a commercial.
You know your radio. Yes, sir.
So music is essential to life.
Mm-hmm.
Music is everything around you creates sound.
Mm-hmm.
And to me, that's an art form in itself. like, so that dates back, and so to go on to the art part, I grew up with album makers, okay? Shout out Charles Wright, that's my godfather. He's the one that created that Express Yourself.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, and then they had to go through that whole, lawsuit thing, blah, 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 down the line.
Yeah.
But I grew up around album makers. My father, Townsend Brothers, Surface. Why I listened to R&B before rap is because all I heard was R&B and Marvin Gaye, very, very,
it makes sense.
It goes on.
Yeah.
It goes down the line. So I grew up looking at album covers, full album covers, which if you look at them, like, some of them are very, very, very intricate and very detailed. Some of them are very basic and just have old people with perms and mustaches. But at the end of the day, like, you had to have a portrait.
Yeah.
You had to have something that represented your music. Now, your album cover could have been something that had nothing to do with the music, but you had to do an album cover.
Right.
So, yeah, I incorporate art with my music because each song to me is like, unless I'm just messing around and we with the guys, we end up freestyling and making a song. But when I create a song, I try to create art, and that you must have something to represent that. And whether it's a video, it doesn't necessarily have to be a piece, but like something that gives the listener also something to look at, so they remember it. And I'm not a big video guy. I don't really like shooting videos. I've done one video.
Right.
I'm working on another one right now, ironically called 1999. That I think you'll enjoy when it drops. Shout out to Bree Watts. She's shooting it. I actually have a woman shooting the video, and she's so dope.
Nice.
Yeah, art is essential in my life. Art is essential. So that's my quote. Art is essential.
So let me put you on blast. Not put you on blast, put you on spot. I'm not gonna ask you to rap, but as I'm talking, I'm gonna ask you to remember a line that you have written. Not your dopest rhyme, not your most metaphorically, gifted. No, none of that. A line that you wrote that came from the realest place of your heart. What was that line, and why did you put it out there in the air? Tell us what was going on in your life during that time.
I wrote so many songs, and I mean, to be honest with you, I wrote something yesterday that kind of sums up everything that I wrote in the past, and it was a conversation with God.
Okay.
And I'll read it to you. I'll kind of give you the last. I said, "Be that you made me, I pray to you. Be that I never sit back and just tell you this. I see my mama in church every Sunday. My father the same with my brother. Why am I missing the boat? Staying afloat. Maybe that's my problem though. I'll figure it out on the go. Thanks for the talk, oh Lord. I got a feeling that you gotta go." I've never really had I woke up and had the urge to write.
Right.
And the first thing I started writing was a conversation with God.
That seems like a very honest conversation that you just had.
Yeah. And there's some things I'm going through right now that it's hard for me to talk. I'll be honest, it's hard for me to talk to God, close my eyes and talk.
Right.
But it's much more easier, right? It's much more easier for me to manipulate words and make them sound alike,
right.
Connect them when I'm talking to him. And so basically that was just a question. It's a longer verse, and I'll send it to you a little bit later. The song is called My Guide, And you know how back at Mirror we should say "no guy" all the time.
Yeah.
Weird stuff like that. So I'm trying to. I was, you know, I was pulling, you know, from a time when I didn't really talk to God to like now, when you know, it's almost something I have to do. It meant a lot. Like that meant a lot for me to get that off.
Mm-hmm.
Because there's times where I know I should have said it a long time ago.
I want to ask you a question.
I said it perfectly.
I want to ask you a question, and it might be a little uncomfortable in terms of the content and nature. And like I said, you use your discretion as to how you will answer this. But why do you think, just in general, why do you think so many people struggle? And let me give you a time frame. We got about 10 more minutes. Why do you think so many people struggle in terms of their? Because it sounds like that verse was communicating a disconnect in faith or a disconnect with God in the situation that you're in, either mentally or physically. Why do you think that other people deal with the same kind of struggles, that the idea of a God being around is almost ludicrous based on what they're going through? Why do you think people struggle with that?
Truthfully, it's filters, bro. You know, when you grow up in a certain environment and your filter is altered, so the things you see is different than what some other people see. Now, yeah, you know, we all see things that we wish we never saw.
Mm-hmm.
But depending on your root, depending on your upbringing, you know where to channel that anger or that frustration or that happiness.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody knows for sure. Okay? Like, nobody knows for sure, but your faith is what keeps you positive, keeps you pushing forward. And I think sometimes if you don't see it, you don't believe it.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
I mean, that's just common sense.
My little one just woke up, so he's probably gonna get on the mic with it.
For sure. And like I said, we're about to wrap it up. Nate, his little daughter, she's a little under weather, so he has to pull daddy's duties. Does the way that you perceive faith and the way you perceive religion, does it come off in your music?
Does it come off what?
Does it come off in your music in terms of just how you see life?
Yeah, and I think it should more. You know, like I'm always insinuating. You know, like I'm there. I'm with you. But then I'm, you know, back to the subject. So yeah, you know, like I said, I feel like it should more. But like I said, I only say what's there, what's on my heart at that moment. That's what's gonna come out on the song.
Sure.
The music.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you don't know, now you know. We have Caly Nate, aka Nate Johnson, aka the pretty one, the one that's creative. I really appreciate this interview. I thank you for taking the time, for blessing us with your presence, you know, your energy and your ideas to help. Even though we all come from different places and different mentalities and thoughts, it's always good to come to the table and eat from the same food. So I thank you for sharing yours, you know, giving me a piece of your chicken.
Man, I really thank you, man. I appreciate the time. I appreciate you hitting me up. You know, we're going to stay in contact.
Yes, sir.
You know, it's really a blessing to have people like you that do what you do. I work with youth now at a high school, Roosevelt High School. It's a program called Beacon through the YMCA.
Nice.
It's all about youth development, you know.
Nice. I didn't know that. See, I wish I known that before. We would have talked a little bit about that.
Yeah, it's all good, you know. Like, I just wish we had something like what I work at Mir, because I think it would have changed a lot of people's lives. It would have gave us a lot more opportunities at an earlier stage of life. You know what I mean?
I think that's the key point, to provide the opportunities earlier versus, you know, now we get to high school and people want to take advantage of, like, take for example sports, However, I don't have the discipline to keep my grades up. So, I'm gonna miss out on that part. So yeah, I wish somebody would have grabbed, especially me, somebody would have grabbed me a little earlier and instilled those kind of principles. For the record, I don't know how you all was able to focus on all the things that y'all did. I'm talking about girls, I'm talking about extracurriculars, and still was able to keep y'all grades up. I couldn't do it. I don't know how y'all did it. That's awesome.
It was no different than whatever anybody else was going through. The only thing was we had, me personally, I had my mom.
Okay.
My mom, it don't matter. You feel me? I could do all that, and my mama knew the hood, so I couldn't go too far and be a screw up without it getting back to her.
Straight up.
I didn't want it to get back to her. So
yeah.
Now, everything I do now is really revolved around making sure my mama's proud and my family's proud. So when you hear the perfect place, then I make sure I make a shout out to G-Up.
That's dope.
Radio.
That's dope. So tell us, how can we get access to your music?
Basically everything is under Caly Nate, at Caly Nate with a Y, CalyNate, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. They won't let me change the Y, so it's with an I, KaCaLinate. I'm on SoundCloud under Caly Nate. And that's pretty much where I put all my music. If not, you can catch my page, my Facebook page, and my Twitter, and I'm always putting up something. So, Caly Nate.
Ladies and gentlemen, he put out a single almost, was it every other day? Who does this?
Every day.
Oh, it was every day. Excuse me.
Every day. For 5 days straight.
Who does that's just? But I guess in times, and that would be a different conversation, and hopefully we will be able to interview you later on. Why artists have to work so hard just to get their content out and for people to listen. But shout out to you all for being persevering and be able to do that. Ladies and gentlemen, this is BroncoRadio.com, where every second of the day an artist is live. Again, this is Caly Nate, aka Nate Johnson, from Pasadena, California, by way of Minneapolis. We thank you once again, sir, and hopefully we will continue this conversation when you go ahead and sign that contract, or when you are. Now, before we get out of here, are you planning to stay independent, or are you looking for that distribution deal?
Well, real quick, let me give a couple shout-outs before I touch that.
Yes, sir.
I want to obviously shout out my mama, my brother, my family, Very Weird, Tash, Bash, J. Wash, Eileen,
what?
Line. I don't know if I can say FUX. And then Rhea Beard, shout out Rhea Beard. And everybody else, if I forget, call me up and we had that conversation. But, Nina Ross Records, Emmett Hayes, and Country Cousins from Austin, Texas. But not independent. I think I like this independent thing. More creative control. You never know. Hold on. More creative control, but you never know.
Yes, sir.
What might happen.
Well, we appreciate you. We thank you. We're gonna go get out of here, ladies and gentlemen. To listen to more interviews, go ahead and log on to YouTube. Type in my name, Amariche Hawkins, AMARICHE, or type in BroncoRadio.com, where I am the program director, and you get to see more untold stories where we get a chance to take people out of their living space and bring it to you live. Thank you, Nate. Thank you, audience, and we out of here. Peace.
Yeah, wake up, wake up. Yeah, wake up, wake up. Yeah, wake up. Wake up. Dang, mom, awake. I hit the snooze button twice, now it's 7:45. I still remember everything she would say. Waste any more time, boy, you gonna be late. I had to get up, put some water on my face. I had to get dressed and make sure that I ate. I had to look out the window, make sure it was safe. Never knowing on my block, I made sure it was straight. Before I left the house, I had to bust through the gate. I was running through the fields like I was one of the greats, you feel me? I'm Drake with it, man, so far gone. Ayo, niggas was paying fines and I ain't Marshawn. Growing up in complicated situations, just a poor black man trying to get my education, Congratulations to the kid, give a toast. I never sold drugs, but I came too damn close. I had to wake up, wake up. Life's good.
If you don't get it, okay. Chuck. Can't put your hands up anymore when you tryna reach the sky. The last time a brother did that, well, you know the story, right? So homie, wake up, bake it, cake up. Take your time, expand your mind, but don't you go inflate it. I'ma go for mine, won't stop for nothing. Less for death for something, left for dead, but resurrected like we Tupac here or something. But hell no, we ain't thugging, I'm just building up the perfect place. You're more than welcome in, just take your shoes off, homie. If you living life, then go and put your L's up, homie. But not over there, cause those brothers don't play like that. Just move forward, cause life ain't gonna play yours back. Stay focused, don't let your sight stray off track. This that wake up call, miss it, don't call me back. This that wake up call, miss it, then that's your back. This that Chucky and me shit, punctuation correct. It's been a long time coming. Hold up, my bad, pause.